Welcome to The Proof, the show powered by Africa Check, the continent's leading fact-checking organization. Nigeria marked 65 years of independence on October 1st, 2025. Now, in his national address, President Bola Tinubu celebrated economic milestones achieved under his administration. But how accurate were those claims? Today, we break down some of the facts with insights from Africa Check's latest report. I'm your host, Dashen Usman. Africa Check researcher Allwell Okpi joins me today. Good to see you, Allwell. Let's get started.
Thank you for having me, Dashen. It's my pleasure.
Now let's start with what signifies economic strength, gross domestic product. The president said Nigeria's GDP grew by 4.23% in the second quarter of 2025, the fastest in 4 years. Was he right, Allwell?
The National Bureau of Statistics reported that the real GDP, Nigeria's real GDP, which is the GDP that it's adjusted for inflation, that it grew by 4.23% in the second quarter of this year, 2025. We found that the last time Nigeria's economy grew faster was way back in the second quarter of 2021. In that quarter, the real GDP growth was 5.01%, and since then, the GDP growth recorded, quarterly has been hovering, somewhere below 4%. Right, so the figure actually checks out, and it's indeed the fastest expansion in 4 years.
Now let's look at the inflation numbers, Allwell. The president claimed inflation fell to 20.12% in August 2025, the lowest in 3 years. Is that true?
So yes, it's accurate. The MBS confirmed that the headline inflation was 20.12% in August 2025, and that's the lowest since July 2022, when it was 19.64%. Then it's important to note that the drop followed a major consumer price index to be basing, which happened in January this year, which sort of updated how inflation is measured, right? Before then, inflation had risen to a peak of 34.8% in December 2024, and then from there, it eased up very significantly all throughout the months of 2025 so far.
Nigeria has borrowed a lot over the years, as we know, and President Tinubu made a claim about debt service. And he said his government reduced the debt service to revenue ratio from 97% to below 50%. Now that sounds like a big achievement.
Yes, it does sound like a big achievement, but unfortunately, that claim is incorrect. Right, the data doesn't support it. Before Tinubu took office in May 2023, Nigeria's debt service to revenue ratio was already below 97%. Early, found that the 7% was recorded sometime around the year 2020. In fact, as of the second quarter of 2023, into the data of the what office, the debt service to revenue ratio was 64.4%, and even earlier in 2023, it have raised around 86.9%. right? So the 97% figure he referred to doesn't match the official records from the budget office.
And let's go on a break, Allwell. When we return, we'll look at the claims he made about foreign reserves, tax to GDP ratio, trade surplus, and non-oil exports. Welcome back, Allwell. And let's continue with Nigeria's foreign reserves. The president said Nigeria's external reserves had risen to $42.03 billion. That's the highest since 2019. Was he right?
All right. Yeah, that's correct. The central bank data shows that by September 29th, the 29th September 2025, that Nigeria's gross external reserve were 42.3 billion US dollars. And they hadn't reached that level since September 2019. These reserves are crucial. They have helped to stabilize the naira and to boost investor confidence. And so on this one, the president is right.
He also said non-oil exports now make up 48% of total exports, nearly matching oil exports at 52%. That sounds like progress, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds impressive, but it's misleading. Let me clarify. Now, the 48% figure refers to non-crude oil export, not non-oil export, right? Non-crude exports still include refined petroleum products and petrochemicals and all oil-related, oil-related, and the true non-oil export like agriculture, manufacturing, solid minerals make up only about 13.4% of total exports. So while the diversification narrative sounds appealing, oil still dominates Nigeria's export earnings.
Oh, well, the president said 330 billion naira has been disbursed to 8 million households under the social investment program. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Government records and ministry of updates, confirm that about 330 billion naira has been disbursed under the National Social Investment Program as of September 2025. Around 8.1 million households have reportedly benefited. Right? However, experts like Professor Benedict Akanebu have raised questions about whether all funds actually reach the intended beneficiaries, and calling for stronger independent oversight.
Finally, Allwell, President Tinubu said 153,000 Nigerians benefited from a 30 billion naira credit core loan scheme.
All right, this claim is unproven, right? The Credit Corp, a government-backed financial institution, confirmed issuing to about 111,000 Nigerians, right, disbursing around 19.5 billion. However, we found no verifiable data supporting the 30 billion figure or the 153,000 beneficiaries cited by the president until Credit Corp releases updated figures. We can't confirm that claim. Out of 18 claims that have to do with the economy, we found 11 to be correct and one mostly correct, two misleading, and with 83 unproven and 1 incorrect. In other words, many of President Tinubu's numbers were right, but some were, stretched or incomplete. As always, the facts matter always, especially when it has to do with growth indices that directly affect millions of Nigerians.
Well, thank you for your time once again, Allwell.
All right, it's my pleasure, Dashen. Thank you for having me once again.
Well, that's it for this episode of The Proof, powered by Africa Check. If you have comments or a claim you want us to fact check, tweet at AfricaCheck_ND. Follow News Central on our social media platforms. We are at News Central TV. And you can check out our website. It's www.newscentral.africa. Stay vigilant and stay informed. I'm Dashen Usman. Bye for now.